The way I figure it. Hey, come on over here, Joey. I got some dents I want you to knock out of my frame, honey. Hey, and Imus, now am I hearing this right? That John Bobbitt is wanting to get back together again with Lorena?
Yeah.
What in God's name is up with that?
Well,
I mean, me and old Priscilla's marriage went sour on us, too, but it never got to that point. From love me tender to please don't throw it in the blender. Damn. Hey, speaking of Lorena Bobbitt, guess what I heard? Now, Christy Whitman wants to sleep with Ed Rollins. There's little politics of Becker's jokes, huh?
Oh, I get it.
Anyway, I wrote me a little song to get out of here on that I figure old John Bobbitt will be singing about a week after he and Lorena patch things up.
Yeah.
It goes like this here. Let's see now. It's an old one, but a good one. How much is that penis in the window? The one with the for sale sign. How much is that penis in the window? 'Cause the sumbitch sure looks like it's mine. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
if you were to cut Steve's penis off,
Oh, please.
just as theory, just in theory.
Oh.
Still be bigger than yours.
Do you think that? Do you think that? Your mama didn't mind it.
Hey.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Now, Steve's circumcised, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Kinky think I'm circumcised?
Well,
Frankly, I don't know.
You're just so old, you have the procedure.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
On an all-new.
Pat O'Brien from CBS Sports is here. You started in Let's Be Out of program. The President of the United States, Bill Clinton. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Tom. How are you? Good. I guess I could ask you, the bed in that old El Camino wasn't large enough to play football on, so, Mr. President, what was that AstroTurf for?
You're old enough to remember what it was like.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I'm guilty of a lot of things, but I didn't ever do that. But I don't think I should disclaim it, really. Just leave it out there.
I mean, it's like saying you didn't inhale, Mr. President. I mean, come on here.
No, I just said I didn't inhale in the back of the pickup.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Developments we're following for you in the Imus and Washington Network newsroom.
I'm David Brinkley of ABC News and host of this program, joined as usual by our regulars Walter Cronkite, Rush Limbaugh, John Donald Imus, and on special assignment, Newsweek correspondent Colonel David Hackworth in Korea. Now, some news. First of all, here in Washington, President Clinton is moving forward quickly with the Whitewater damage control initiated at his primetime news conference in an effort to get the controversy behind him once and for all. In an impromptu meeting with reporters a short time ago at the White House, Mr. Clinton underscored his determination to remove any further appearance of administration impropriety by shredding William Kennedy III, the White House counsel for ethical standards, ensnared in his own Mannygate scandal. Mr. Clinton himself demonstrated the new process by which he said potential hostile witnesses could be silenced and further slack-jawed, pig-kissing, cousin-f***ing Lum and Abner Rose law firm embarrassments dealt with. IIW microphones were there as Mr. Clinton fed Mr. Kennedy into his document shredder.
I've called y'all here to show you our latest damage control strategy. This fella's Bill Kennedy. Bill, get in the shredder, son. Feet first.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Okay, now, who'd like to flip her on? Hillary? Why, sure, darling. There's the button you mash right there. Oh, you already knew that. Then crank her up, hon.
Meantime, what many inside the Beltway say is further evidence of how desperate the administration has become to divert attention from Whitewater. The President and Mrs. Clinton have just completed work on another takeoff of the familiar Harry and Louise style healthcare commercials, in which the President and First Lady are seated next to each other on a couch, totally nude. After a brief discussion of care delivery concerns, each holds up a small sign that reads, "The Clinton Healthcare Plan. It could keep you from looking like this."
On Capitol Hill, having defeated Democratic opposition to Whitewater hearings, Senate and House Republicans are now pressing for Whitewater hangings, saying they now won't be satisfied until people are dead. Leading the drive for Whitewater hangings is New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato, one of the most vociferous Whitewater critics.
This Whitewater situation is just unconscionable. After lengthy deliberations with my Republican colleagues in the House, we've concluded that hearings aren't enough. In order to put this unfortunate episode behind us once and for all, we want people to swear can get on with other important issues that are now being neglected, like violence and all that stuff.
Senator D'Amato said he had already raised the issue of Whitewater hangings with Minority Leader Bob Dole, who reportedly said that it sounded like a good idea to him and called for formation of an ad hoc committee to buy rope.
Overseas, the crisis continues to mount on the troubled Korean Peninsula over North Korea's increasingly ominous refusal to permit inspection of its nuclear weapons capability. A man very familiar with the geopolitics of the region, Colonel David Hackworth, is on special assignment there, both for Newsweek magazine and Imus and Washington Network News. Let's switch to him live right now. Colonel Hackworth.
Call me Hack, Walt. Hey, you know what's wrong with Korea, in my opinion? Too many Koreans. I mean, my God, you can't even walk around over here without stepping on them. They're like lemmings. Hey, this place sucked back in '53 when I was here, and it still does, you know? I mean, blow it up. Who the cares?
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but this just handed me. We have a report that Washington, D.C. Park Police have been called to the scene of a pothole repair project near the foot of the Key Bridge, where it's just been determined that a mechanical road crew flagman waving an orange detour sign at oncoming right-lane traffic is, in fact, the body of the late Deputy White House Counsel Vincent Foster. Park Police, after turning off the device and loading it aboard a Department of Public Works truck, emphasized that finding a body at the site of a pothole repair project dressed in orange overalls, shot in the head, and being used as a mechanical flagman waving a slow down, give us a break detour sign, while unusual, is not inconsistent with cases of gunshot suicide.
God, every time Eddie walks into the studio, I mean, I think like there's somebody has escaped from the zoo.
No kidding. Man.
Oof, what a beast.
Right? You know, on the evolution chart, Eddie looks like the third guy from the left. Yes, sir. The guy that's not quite standing up yet.
Sasquatch.
Exactly. That's exactly who he looks like, Sasquatch.
Yep.
He's got hair down to the middle of his back, and he's got this big, fat, mushy body.
He's in great shape.
Yeah, really. Eddie's about 25 years old, and you couldn't be in worse shape. If he were out in Oregon, people would be trying to make plaster casts of his footprints.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Eddie cannot do one push-up. I bet he can.
No kidding.
He's got just a big, mushy... What do you mean, not one?
Unless you put a
push-up?
Twinkie under his face.
Imus in the morning.
13 to 8 here in New York.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Well, it sounds like the blues. Good God Almighty. Have mercy. Let me talk to you about...
Started already. Maybe during entertainment tonight they can run a little crawl at a score.
Indiana scored first, 4-2. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10. Of course, Mike and me back Monday at 1. Enjoy your weekend. Good job, Lula Shepherd, Stevie Cohen. Adios. I'm a fan of Rudy. Don't forget Bernard King and Iron coming up with Dick Weiss. Stick around for that. Friday night hoops.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
The WFAN
Highway Patrol.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports.
Popular sports talk show host Don Imus becomes disoriented. Good morning. This is Mike Brain with sports. The I-Man of WFAN in New York called in sick earlier today, complaining he was not feeling well. When reached at his home in Manhattan, the veteran morning man had trouble explaining what was wrong. Co-workers blamed medication on his inability to speak coherently. However, veteran newsman and longtime Imus sidekick Charles McCord felt the show was going well without the I-Man.
We don't need that dirtbag.
Imus is scheduled to arrive, however, later at the WFAN studios later in the day.
Fine.
Meanwhile, news from the NHL.
And shut up. Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Going in the tunnel so I may lose you.
You'll never lose us.
I won't be able to hear you now.
Okay.
All right.
Exactly.
Easy, you jerk. Lady, you schmuck. Hope you have a car fire.
Tunnel blows up.
Take a deep breath, inhale the fumes. You maggot.
That sounds great.
Man, that's terrific.
Hope whatever you have is terminal.
That's the best you've sounded in years.
There is a God.
More hockey scores coming up later.
Damn right.
And that's sports.
Details,
I'm Mike
baby.
Breen.
Imus in the morning, flashback.
Here
Newsweek news from Imus in Washington.
I'm David Brinkley, joined this morning, as usual, by our regular panel, Walter Cronkite, Rush Limbaugh, Don Imus, Giselle Fernandez, among others. Now,
On the Fan in New York.
It's Friday Night Hoops on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Come on.
We disparage you, and you just shut up and keep. And
You take it.
Sit out there and.
No Lloyd Lindsay Young here.
Yeah, no, we're not going to go to the. Hello, Wayne.
Take it out.
He's whining about how long it takes to get across the Triborough Bridge to go
Forward at the Knicks, and you can see them being a mediocre team for years and years and years and not getting better, and they sure got better in a hurry. Eddie Coleman on the Mets next. WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Chemical Investment Services, a division of Liberty Securities Corporation, is a registered broker-dealer member NASDS SEC and not affiliated with Chemical Bank. Investments are not bank obligations or deposits, are not FDIC insured, and involve risk, including the possible loss of principal.
Met fans, it's 9:06, and that means it's time on Saturday morning to talk to our man in Metland, Mr. Ed Coleman, covering the Mets for the Fan. On Sports Radio 66, WFAN, Richard Neer, Ed Coleman. Yeah, that's it, Bruce. Okay, we following our tennis. Get down to Doherty on soon. We'll get some tennis talk. Right now, the dog is coming up, and he will talk extensively about the NCAAs. I'll be back again tomorrow morning for the final Sunday gig at 9 o'clock. Have yourself a great weekend. Thanks to Mike Hayes and Steve Cohen. And stay tuned for Christopher Mad Dog Russo right after Vince Scalisi and the Sports Flash. I'm Vince DeLisi with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Christopher Russo on a fan on it. Saturday morning in New York. Good on your board. 718-937-6666. That's your two-way sports talk telephone number, and I suspect some of this will be a little mourning period for UConn. I'll try to stab you awake. To blow away Florida, 21-13 early, 44-34, 15 minutes to go, and on many occasions, that team had 44 points with 15 minutes to go, and they scored 16 points in the next 20 minutes of the game. Awful. Their perimeter shooting was basketball. Something we did not see out of UConn. That was a disgraceful performance by what was deemed to be third, fourth best team in the country. And I'll tell you right now, Donnie Marshall, stay in school, will you please? You're not that good. Do yourself a favor. Stay in school. You'll be lost in the NBA. You're a perimeter ball player. That's all you are. Stay in college. Please. Here's a guy. 7:37 here on the Fan. Nice to have you with us. Here's Eli in New Jersey. Eli, how are you?
Chris, how you doing?
boss.
John Sunvold. So many picks. I agree with you. That's a bitter pill if you're a UConn fan. That's all there is to it. Noon, Olden on the Fan. Paul's got the flash. We come back other side. Don't go away.
On WFAN, your flagship station for March Madness.
Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Nice to have you with us. 718-937-6666 2-way Sports Talk. Telephone number. A couple of quickies before we get back to your calls. Let me go to the NBA for a minute. Knickerbockers last night. Another good effort and another good game out of Derek Harper. 14 points. A big... Very well. I probably shouldn't have done that before Steve. Good job out of Stevie Cohen. Very nice job today out of Jeff Hughes and Mike Hayes. We will see you Monday at 1 o'clock. Mike and myself, of course. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all the NCAA. Purdue, Arizona, Arkansas, BC, I hope. See you Monday. Adios. With you on the fan, Richard Neal. We'll take a break. Vince DeLisi will update us on the scores and stories, and then Rob Beaton from USA Today joins us. Talk a little bit about Arizona and the Grapefruit League, the Cactus League, actually. We talked about the Mets and Yankees, what's going down in Florida. We'll get an idea of what the Cubs and the Giants and some of those teams are doing in Arizona, and maybe get an idea of the West and some possible trades and all that coming up with Rob Beaton. You stay with us.
This is the...
Easy with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness. And we are back on the Fan, Sports Radio 66 WFAN. A sure harbinger of spring is when you have Rob Beaton on the radio, and he's back in New York, fresh from covering the Cactus League, and 718-937-6666 is our telephone number. Coach Minko with a pregame, and then we've got a real good basketball game. The Orlando Magic take on the New York Knickerbockers. Knicks looking for number 13 in a row. Will it be lucky 13? We'll find out in about a half hour when the game starts. We'll be back next week. What is...
No better David Brinkley than, I think, the David Brinkley we have.
Yes, I do.
Let's hear you do David Brinkley.
Declaring cooperation, disclosure, and doing the people's business are the order of the day.
Stop now.
You sound like Mr. Magoo. What's wrong with that?
That's horrible. Just stop it.
Your guy is good?
Hey, our guy's the guy. Our guy's the man.
Turn up your miracle here.
Jim, what's the matter with you? That's horrible.
You're jealous because I do it better than you.
You don't do it better than our guy does.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
So we have Larry Kinney. So we'll just have a David Brinkley off here. Good morning, Larry. Do you know Pat O'Brien?
I know Pat O'Brien very well.
What are you shaking your head about?
Chad Huntley? Is Jack there? Jack? Are you supposed to be doing me right now? If you're going to make fun of me, let me do this for you. Let's go to the tape and see that last shot. It was a beauty.
18 after 7 in New York City.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let me talk to you a second, baby, about the blues. Let me talk to you about peeing on your shoes.
Well, all right.
Got some news for you, baby. Well, now that will be enough.
Imagine there's no Clinton. It's easy if you try. No more Hillary Rodham. She choked on humble pie. Imagine Bill and Hillary being led away in chains. Imagine an impeachment. It isn't hard to do. No more feminazis in the cabinet. Or homosexual Jews.
That'll be fine, Rush.
Imagine Janet Reno bursting into flames. You may say, make it at home, 'cause I'm not the only one. Someday we'll get rid of all the liberals, and then we shall overcome. Imagine no more health care. I wonder if you can. No more blacks on welfare. Whitewater broke the dam. Imagine all the Negroes looking for a job. You may say, Rush, you're a genius. Well, you're not the only one. Someday we'll get rid of all the liberals, and then we shall overcome.
Rush Limbaugh here on the Imus in the Morning program. William Crystal coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So you can start calling Fred Imus in El Paso, Texas, now at 1-800-272-1957. Get that Easter basket thing together. Get that Auto Body Express El Paso, Texas denim work shirt and a T-shirt and a sweatshirt and the coffee mug and the 100% wool.
Hey, Butthead, want some Easter candy?
Sure. What are they?
I don't know. I think they're Raisinets.
Ugh, they taste like crap.
They should. They came out of a rabbit's butt.
You dork knob. I eat bunny poop. That's cool.
I got an idea. Let's stay up late and wait for the Easter bunny. And we'll jump him and kick his ass and cut off his feet for good luck.
Looks like your luck just ran out, little rabbit dude.
Can we, get you a wagon or something?
Nah, let's just stick an M80 in his butt.
Here comes Peter Cottontail.
Brian Lamb gets his here in a couple of minutes. I want to talk to Ron Howard about the paper, whether I'm in it or not. I'm not going to go see it till I find out I'm actually, All right, talk about little doobies.
Did you take another speech like that?
Well, his speech was fine, Fred.
No, it wasn't. I mean, everybody knows homosexuals, and this guy's making a big deal because he knows a couple queers. You know, everybody knows them, and don't make no big deal about it.
You know, first of all, you're a crude, homophobic, misogynistic, bald-headed goon.
And you're getting soft, man.
What do you mean?
You're really getting turned into a wimp.
Why?
I don't know. I noticed this attitude of yours has changed.
Well, what are you talking about?
Well, you're not so tough like you used to be.
He's lost that hard edge,
You lost that hard edge.
Well, what do you base this on?
Yeah. This alley cat's running around this train yard, gets its tail cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's running around for another 2 hours searching for his tail.
Yeah.
And another train comes by and cuts his head off. So the moral of the story is don't lose your head over a piece of tail.
That's just so stupid. That's ridiculous. Good grief. You really have turned into like the Henny Youngman of El Paso. You claim you do.
In the morning.
It's 26 after 8 in New York.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Lately, you've probably been hearing a lot about the new Eagle Vision DSI, and no wonder.
Next Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
I'm Imus in the morning, and here now, where is he, Bernard?
Mike Breen is in his home on Long Island.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Why aren't you here?
Because I had a little trouble with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck yesterday.
I think we better get
I think we better get serious here and come up with some answers, okay, Schmuckface?
Whoa. Oh, man. Hey. That's cold.
That hurts me. Geek neck. That doesn't hurt me. How come you didn't come to work?
Because my flight from Orlando took about 6 hours, and I didn't arrive to my home until about 2:30.
Of American journalism and finding no faults. Here's the Dean of Broadcast Reporters, Walter Cronkite.
One matter is now clear regarding the Whitewater affair, which the presidency of William Jefferson Clinton is so intact. We now know without any residue of doubt where a major portion of the money from Madison Guarantee Savings and Loan wound up. In the pockets of the White House press corps. They were paid off. There's no other plausible explanation for the way White House reporters prostrated themselves before the President of the United States at his primetime news conference, rolled over, pulled down their pants, and fannies waving in the air said, "Take us, Mr. President, we're yours." What a sickeningly disgusting display. With questions of ethics, impropriety, and even possible criminality pouring from the White House like the filaments of 1,000 shredded documents, the people we've designated to be the hall monitors of our democracy apparently recoiled from suggestions that they fixated on Whitewater, shied from their opportunity to put Bill Clinton beneath a magnifying glass, and instead ran for cover like gerbils in a San Francisco bathhouse, burying their heads in their laptops and slamming the covers. What a bunch of weak-kneed sponge-spine sops. Not only did they not put the president on the campus, they didn't even take a swing. They handed him a spit bucket, rubbed his neck, and bathed his brow. Rita Braver of CBS rose to ask her question of what had attracted Mr. Clinton to James McDougal in the first place. His baby blue eyes, okay, Rita? NBC's Andrea Mitchell stood to follow up with her penetrating, "Do you think this could have been handled better?" question. Then ABC's Brent Hume and the hard-hitting, "Are you now going to invite Michael Milken over for dinner?" question. In fact, the only news to emerge from the debacle had to be volunteered by the subject of the press conference himself. Mr. Clinton acknowledging that he had inflated his Whitewater losses by fully 1/3. An Alice in Wonderland revelation that instantly recalled earlier damage control techniques about how he had never inhaled or got a Vietnam draft induction notice. So glaringly conspicuous by their absence were nitpicky little items such as Vince Foster, David Hale, Virginia Bachelor Pad, Rose Law, Park Police, Tyson Chickens, co-presidencies, and St. Hilary the Commodity Shark. And as Mr. Clinton pointedly reminded reporters that the fabled Resolution Trust Corporation employees were appointed by Republican presidents, not once did our assembled fact-checkers see fit to remind him that since he took office, the RTC has been run by his own Deputy Treasury Secretary. No, it seems to this venerated old reporter that at the White House, ethics might need some review on both sides of the typewriter. Forget checking White House staff security credentials. Let's check White House reporters for journalism credentials. I'm no longer as interested in what did he know and when did he know it, as I am in what did they know and when did they decide to forget it. With all due respect, Mr. President, you didn't inhale, and at least some of us don't swallow. For Media Watch, did that come out all right?
No.
This is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
This is an example of what is wrong with American politics. We set up things, we scream at each other, and you're a phony, and you're dishonest, and you misrepresented yourself. Now look, I'm trying to answer your question, and I will if you will shut up.
Tell your mama, tell your pa, when I see you right now, I'm just so no. Mama, you don't do right. I'm a in the morning. Look at you, nobody else.
Delbert McClinton from the Honky Tonk Blues album, which is available on MCA Records. Yeah, you can pick that CD up at Rick's store across the back. Come on! Now, you tell me that wasn't any good.
Well, that's a great record. Let me say this about Delbert, I won't say any more.
All right.
Delbert's the last of a breed.
Okay.
Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, and Delbert McClinton, when they're gone, there won't be any more.
Well, then, see, 10 minutes ago, you had Delbert
Hi, next Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
The United States.
I'm a in the morning.
Roger.
Hey, bro. Guess what?
What?
I'm a married man.
Well, I know that. By the way, congratulations on that.
It's official.
Yeah.
Just another example of the completion backwards principle. Have the honeymoon, get pregnant, then get married, have a baby. You should have been there, man. What a party. You know why we had it in the Dallas Arboretum?
No.
That's about as close my sister-in-law let my brother get to anything named flowers. Hey, you know all that stuff they're saying about Hillary and them cattle futures?
Right.
Ain't true, man. I mean, think about it. What kind of a future does a cow have where my brother eats hamburgers? Hey, I've seen you on David Brent.
That'll be fine.
But I got kind of confused for a second there. I thought it was one of them infomercials for that Rompo peel beef jerky machine. Hey, I want to tell you about the time I was in New York. I was doing hallucinogenics on top of the Empire State Building with Georgie Stephanopoulos.
No.
Okay, he said, I bet you I can fly like Superman. So he jumps off and falls 109 stories. Well, unfortunately, he breaks his fall on them canvas awnings.
No.
So I rush down to see if he's okay, and he said, damn, man, why'd you try and stop me? And I said, well, I thought you could do it.
Hey, man, your brother and sister-in-law don't appear to be too happy, do they?
Could she sit any further away from him at that game?
Man.
Man, for a second, I thought she was the hot dog man.
He's sitting there thinking, how can I kill this woman and get by with it?
And she's thinking, wow, wouldn't it be nice to be with one of them nice black boys?
That'll be fine. All right, now live back to El Paso, Texas. And we're going to talk now with Joe.
Hey, Butthead, it's like Easter, and I feel bad for the Jewish kids. They don't, get the Easter bunny to come to their house and leave them candy.
Yeah, but they, have this old dude, Elijah.
What does he do?
I don't know. I think he, comes to dinner and, brings really disgusting food.
Cool.
Except, they set a place for him and everything, but, he's too cool to show up.
I guess that's why they call it Passover.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu.
What's that mean?
I don't know. That's what I heard when I played the new Pearl Jam record backwards.
Pat O'Brien from CBS Sports is here. You claim you do a better David Brinkley than, I think, the David Brinkley we have.
Yes, I do.
Here we go. Let's hear you do David Brinkley.
Declaring cooperation, disclosure, and doing the people's business are the order of the day.
Stop now.
You sound like Mr. Magoo. What's wrong with that?
That's horrible. Just stop it.
Your guy is good?
Hey, our guy's the guy. Our guy's the man.
Turn up your miracle here.
Jim, what's the matter with you? That's horrible.
You're jealous because I do it better than you.
You don't do it better than I do.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
So we have Larry Kinney. So we'll just have a David Brinkley off here. Good morning, Larry. Do you know Pat O'Brien?
I know Pat O'Brien very well.
What are you shaking your head about?
Chad Huntley? Is Jack there? Jack?
Are you supposed to be doing me right now? If you're going to make fun of me, let me do this for you. Let's go to the tape and see that last shot. It was a beauty.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
I'm Mr. Money. Why do you suppose George Will? How many people think that you guys are here as legitimate, genuine sycophants and providing a human laugh track? I mean, does it... I don't know. What do you think, I mean?
The way you said that was interesting.
Could you guys shut up for a second?
Shut up, boss. Never talking again.
No, not me.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
This is the greatest morning radio show in this country, period.
Exclamation point.
Don't you guys think?
Absolutely.
Sure, I mean.
You're the man.
I mean, are we doing something here that nobody gets?
That's an excellent question.
And a funny one, too.
Imus in the morning.
All right.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Are you fed up with the dirty, smudgy copies you always seem to get exasperated? Pam 102.7 where Rock lives with my friend Scott Binney. Scott, sir?
I'm sitting here wondering how some waste of protoplasm like Kurt Cobain pulls through, but somebody like John Candy has done before his time.
Shut up.
For me, it's always been one of life's most elusive mysteries, the imbalance of fairness, the cosmic doling out of what is right and just. Somewhere in a one-room, cold-water tenement with peeling walls and a bare light bulb, there's a brilliant yet unpublished author who truly is writing the great American novel. But 3 months after he commits suicide and they finally find his rotting corpse, the manuscript gets tossed in the trash, while simultaneously it's announced that Kinky Friedman wins the Pulitzer Prize for Literature. There is no God. I'm sure that's what Delbert McClinton must be thinking.
What?
Out of all the DJs on all the stations and all the towns, why does my number one fan have to be some scrimshaw stick figure in an Autobody Express denim work shirt? Ed Sullivan brought the Beatles to the world, providing them with the opportunity to change musical history. But so far, old Delbert has gotten from you is a gig as the Muzak on Fred's answering machine. I'm sure he appreciates your desire to help him break out as the next big thing, but I'm almost positive he'd prefer you didn't do it by playing the same 3 songs of his 50 times a day. First of all, he's already a big deal. He doesn't need Skeletor's stunt double to convince people about that. But it really sounds stupid when a 53-year-old guy gets all gushy like a teeny bopper over some pop star. I know he strikes some spiritual chord in you somewhere, like your kindred spirits with the outlaw rebel raised around bar rooms and Friday night dances. But face it, Fats, you're a millionaire show business icon with a trophy wife, a mansion, and a Rolls. You identifying with the guy crying in his beer about all those dreams he got to remember is like Khalid Muhammad having a catharsis at a screening of Schindler's List. To paraphrase Ringo Starr, got to pay your dues if you want to sing the blues. Why the hell would you have the blues? The blues is a toothless, depressed truck driver whose dog died right after his woman left him and took all his money. What do you have in common with that? What the do you have to be depressed about? You're living the American dream. Independently wealthy, supremely powerful, supermodel for a fiancé, and every morning some coal miner without a pancreas sitting at the breakfast table in his trailer with his fat flesh-colored tabula rasa for an old lady and listens to you bitch about your life on the radio. He's the one who should be singing the f***ing blues. Nah, 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 nah.
Just today, from someone close to me, so far away. My heart.
And the Unistar Radio Network. This concludes the entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule. An indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled this station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume tomorrow morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
For sports scores and sports news.
This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home for March Madness.
And good morning, everybody. Russ Salzberg with you here on this 28th day of March, 1994. 10:05 is the time. The number, as always, for you to call, 718-937-6666. Lots to talk about this morning. Well, we've got ourselves top of the list, a Final Four. Alrighty, that's a wrap on hour number 1 here on The Fan. Russ Salzberg with you. The number for you to call till 1 o'clock, 718-937-6666. We're talking with Eddie Coleman there before about the David Segui trade. Good deal for the Mets. You know, when you get something and you give up nothing, those are always the best kind of deals. I think the Mets did good on this one. Stick around, Bertie coming up with the update.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Dr. Georgia Whitkin is here with us this morning. Dr. Whitkin had an article in this past Sunday's edition of Parade magazine. It was entitled 10 Things About Sex You Do Not Have to Worry About, and essentially it was directed at people about our age. And that is, if you're 50 years old and you're in hideous shape, for example, if you're Charles Kuralt, who's 59, who is in the most hideous shape of any human being on the planet. Yeah, I bet Charles Kuralt can't even have sex. It would be like moving a whale around a pond with a pole, you know, just got to get him into position there.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning on The Fan.
And Rob Bartlett's on the phone, the aforementioned fattest person at the radio station. Good morning, Rob.
Fattest person at the radio station?
Yeah.
You do not deserve to live.
Why don't I deserve to live? Because I just made an accurate observation. First of all, I bought you a treadmill, didn't I?
Yes. I use it every day.
To hang clothes on?
No. Sharon puts the breakfast down at one end, and it comes right to me.
Imus in the morning on The Fan. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 11 o'clock. This is John Minko. It continues to rain on and off And that's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home for March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN, New York.
All righty, Russ Goldberg back here on the fan. Hour number 2 we go. 718-937-6666. The number. And as we were saying, Devils are tied for first place with the Rangers. Tied for first place. Took them a long time, but they are finally there. And look, and chicken soup that they had for the last 2 nights, they're going to come up. Stick around, Bertie coming up with the update.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN.
Degrees of steady rain, and that's what's happening. This is Ian Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN, New York.
All righty, Russ Goldberg back with you here on the fan as we head into hour number 3. The time is 12:05, 1 o'clock. Mike and the Mad Dog coming up, but before them, let's talk some hockey business. We've been talking all morning about the Devils on to beat. Alrighty, that's a wrap on this 28th day of March, 1994. Tomorrow we'll be live at the play-by-play over at the Garden. If you're in the area, please stop by. Lunch is on you, though not on me. My thanks today to Anthony Mason, who you just heard, of the Knicks, Martin Brodeur, the final goaltender of the Devils. Across the way, my thanks to Fast Eddie Schizzeri, Hot Rod Rodman, and as always, you the fans, until tomorrow, Russ Goldberg, bye-bye, so long, farewell.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN.
God, every time Eddie walks into the studio, I mean, I think like there's somebody has escaped from the zoo. No kidding. Man. Oof, what a beast. Right? You know, on the evolution chart, Eddie looks like the third guy from the left. Yes, sir. The guy that's not quite standing up yet.
Sasquatch.
Exactly. That's exactly who he looks like, Sasquatch. Yep. He's got hair down to the middle of his back, and he's got this big, fat, mushy body.
He's in great shape.
Yeah, really. Eddie's about 25 years old, and you couldn't be in worse shape. If he were out in Oregon, people would be trying to make plaster casts of his footprints.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the fan.
Eddie cannot do one push-up. I bet he can.
No kidding.
He's got just a big, mushy...
What do you mean, not one? Unless you put a Twinkie under his face.
In the morning on the fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. This is Ian Eagle. For a temperature 50 degrees of steady rain, and that's what's happening. This is Ian Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home of March Madness.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the fan. Nothing can get by 'em, turn it on and try 'em. Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Mike and the Mad Dog on the fan, 28th day of March, 1994. Good to have you aboard. Talk to you about the world of sports, 718-937-6666. With Eddie Schizzeri, Bob Gelb. Across the way, and there's a lot to do this afternoon. Good to have you with us. Good afternoon there, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine, Doug. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Boy, did you cunt.
What?
Big move. That was basically, when you think about Danny Clump's last hurrah. At age 16. Coming back.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Governor McClinton will be here in New York City tomorrow night at the Irving Plaza. And we have a winner, Clint, from someplace in Texas. Good morning, Clint.
Yeah. Did I win?
Oh, Fred, you idiot. Oh, God. I win them Delbert tickets?
No, you didn't win them.
I want to see Delbert. I want to see him so I can work on my car because he sure as hell can't sing.
Shut up. You're not eligible to win the tickets, Fred.
Bernie said I won.
No, Bernie lied.
You chump.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
How'd that jury duty go?
Well,
That must have been a unique experience for you, huh?
why?
Being on the jury instead of facing one.
In the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. This is Iron Eagle. It's a flash.
Did you pull the plug on it?
Absolutely not. I wanted to.
Did you
no.
pull the plug?
I just told you no. I
Why
wanted
you
it to
tell
air.
us that Al Linders at ESPN was leaving your school here on the Fan doing updates with and then Bernard King on Fridays?
Absolutely not.
Answer the question.
Absolutely not.
In the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN. Imus in the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN New York. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. This is Iron Eagle.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Baseball.
Exhibition, last one of the year, thank goodness, against the Braves. We'll follow that. Iron coming up at 6. See you tomorrow. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Well, here now, the man who has directed many wonderful movies, the latest of which is called The Paper, Ron Howard. Good morning, Mr. Howard.
Morning, how are you?
Don't how are you me, young man. Don't give me that Jeffrey Katzenberg Hollywood jive.
I guess you haven't seen the movie yet, right?
No, I haven't.
You know, it looked like you were going to hit the editing room floor.
Yeah.
We didn't do that in the end.
Well, you didn't.
We kind of weaved you into the fabric of the background environment, which is a euphemism for saying you're barely in there. But it's sort of like a Where's Waldo kind of a book.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
But you actually can be heard.
Well,
and so you may want to, you might not care one way or the other, but people may now go to the movie and sort of say, there, what's that?
Imus in the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN New York. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. This is Iron Eagle. What's happening? This is Iron Eagle with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
6:04, and what do you say? Howie Rose with you on the Fan tonight for a big fiver. You and me all the way through until 11 o'clock. And then we'll have the NCAA preview show coming up at 11 on the baton. So we'll have plenty of time to yak things up here at 718-937-6666. I'm sorry, I guess there's a specific title to the NCAA show I should have used. So to be politically correct around here, it's Billy Packer's March Madness. More to go. Jeff Hughes has had enough. How about that? 1 hour putting up with this nonsense and he's going home. And we get the Weasel, Lisa Johnson, to run the board for the next 4 hours. Well, you win some. We'll be back. Corey Hirsch joins us right after the update. Love you, Lise.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
What's happening? I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN, New York.
7:05 on the Fan. Howie Rose with you till 11 o'clock tonight. Then tomorrow night down to Philly for the Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. You talk about facing a team that ought to be desperate. Well, the Flyers should be desperate tomorrow night. You consider they blew a game last night at home to Anaheim. They're down 2-1 on a power play late in the third period. They tie the game.
And then before the overtime period is a half a minute old. Gary Boldt scores for Anaheim, and the Mighty Ducks player. Period. He can't hit in the major leagues. So you can't take the risk or even the luxury of a 25, 26-year-old kid that you're going to throw in middle relief and hope he makes it, and say no to the prospect of a first baseman who could win you a Gold Glove and drive in 70 runs. It was a no-brainer.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Rainy skies in Central Park. And that's what's happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. New York.
8:06, Howie Rose with you till 11 o'clock tonight. Sergio Momesso of the Vancouver Canucks. Remember that bit where he swung his stick at Joey Kosar on Friday night in Vancouver? Joey's going, hey, my name is Alice, and I love to eat an apple. You know that jump rope thing that he did? Thankfully, nobody got hurt. It actually was kind of funny when you take a look at the tape and you see Joey jumping to get out of the way. But anyway, Sergio Momesso has been given a two-game suspension by Brian Burke. Renters. I mean, they're just renting the team from the guy who owns it and sits down in Florida with no interest in it, John Pickett. But it's kind of tough to determine who makes the decision as to whether or not Don Maloney goes or Al Arbor goes or stays. That's the big problem. Until they get the ownership situation straightened out, nothing else will fall into line. Susan joins us after the update.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
45 degrees in Central Park. And that's what's happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. New York.
9:06 on the Fan. Howie Rose with you, moving towards 11 o'clock tonight. Congratulations to Joe Swallock of Lindencroft, New Jersey, George Asaris of Woodside, New York. There are Blitz winners, and get a couple of tickets to see the Yankees and the Texas Rangers opening day at the stadium 1 week from today, Monday, April 4th. Keep listening for more chances to win right here on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN in New York. Dallas leading Florida 4-2 now.
You are a moron. And I want to tell that dry lump diesel Janarino to shut up and mind her business. Ain't nobody asked her to say nothing about violence on TV. She just uses her position as Attorney General to network a screenplay. She just sniffing around for a development deal. And I guess that's the only way she gonna get one, because she damn sure ain't gonna get it by way of no casting couch. Too much violence on television? Bitch, take a look outside your window. There's violence in the streets. She living in a town where they get ready to call in the National Guard to keep things in order, and she worried about Mr. Mustard in the study with a candlestick on murder she wrote. Why don't she pay more attention to putting away these mailmen who go berserk, go out and kill 47 people in a dentist somewhere, instead of sweating how many handgun crimes are committed per minute on Matlock? Well, of course, despite the odd Beavis and Butthead and copycat incidents, television don't encourage lasting effect on society. The power of video is way overrated. I don't know of any video that can cause violence that maybe snow and not only make me violently ill. But I can name 2 videos right now that was supposed to have some kind of impact and did nothing come of either one of them. Yeah. The Rodney King and Reginald Dennis show. Neither one was able to bring about a verdict which was predictable. No. So go back to Florida and hit your ride with a German tourist, okay, Janet? That's another thing. Ain't no way them 2 black kids were getting convicted when the man whose ass they kicked didn't even want them to be punished. Yeah. Hard to make a jury come up with a verdict that could cause a replay of the South Central riot when the victim of the crime seemed okay with the fact that he got a brick thrown upside his head. Yeah. Williams kicked his white boy like he's punting for an extra point, and then what did this simple ass cracker turn around and do? Start kissing and hugging up on Williams' mama in the court. That one crazy motherfucker. Maybe he's just very enlightened. Yeah. Maybe if we took his lead, maybe there'll be a start towards some racial healing. I don't know. I know all about turning the other cheek and all that bullshit. But damn, somebody throw a brick at my head, last thing I'm gonna do is go kiss his mama. Brother, please. Yo, I'm out of here. Peace.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson here. I'm the morning program. I'm not going to have a chance to play this except today because I'm going to Santa Fe Thursday. My man Delbert.
Here comes the weekend, honey. What's going on?
Talk about it, baby.
We put our feet up, honey. Party all night long. Oh, baby.
Listen in Indiana. Good morning, champ.
Morning, Mr. Chubb. Are you gonna wish me happy anniversary?
No.
I've been here 2 years already. Can you believe it?
Yes.
Time sure flies when, like, you're in solitary every other week.
Well?
And seeing as I've lost every appeal I made, I'm not holding out much hope for parole. But the way I look at it, 2 years out of a 6-year sentence, I'm halfway home. Except I lost a chance to cut 3 months off my sentence by getting my equivalency diploma.
Right.
You know, Mr. Chump, I try and try and try with all my might, but I just can't pass the GED. It's ironic. I can't pass high school, and yet I get taken to the prom every night whether I want to or not. I would have passed that test, Mr. Chump. I swear, I could do it. Except I never get enough time to study.
Really?
I hardly ever get a chance to crack a book, because my crack is booked every night.
That will be enough.
It's not like you can read in the shower, you know.
No.
Then I read in the paper where all these reporters are claiming that I benefited from my relationship with the president. Tyson gets favorable treatment from Clinton. It's not true, Mr. Trump. I didn't even know the guy.
Right.
And even if I did, you call sitting in a 6x9 with a 350-pound, 3-time loser felon doing a double life sentence favorable?
Well?
What? Nothing, Tiny. Mr. Trump wanted to know how you were feeling. I said you're leading a favorable life. I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
He's very sensitive lately. People can be so cruel sometimes.
Yeah.
At his birthday party the other night,
Right.
somebody gave him a calendar. Listen, you're smart.
Yeah?
You think you can help me study for my next test?
It's not too old of a joke, is it?
I got the workbook here. Hang on.
Somebody give him a calendar?
Let's do history first, okay?
Fine.
What was Harriet Tubman's function in the Underground Railroad? I know that one. She was the one who said, watch the closing doors. Okay, now English. Where are the dangling participles in the following sentence? That's a trick question. You can't see no dangling participles in that sentence. Only place you're going to see dangling participles is in the shower. That's an anatomy question. Okay, now math. Jane has 3 apples. Mike has 2 apples.
Right.
If Jane takes an apple away from Mike, how many apples does Mike have? That's easy. Mike got all the apples. Because first of all, Jane take an apple away from Mike? I don't think so. Mike smacked that bitch in the mouth so hard, she lucky she'd be able to eat applesauce.
It is now time to talk to my best friend and my brother and a man I've loved dearly. Live from El Paso, Texas, Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
You're still not out of that suck it up mood, are you?
What are you talking about?
Well, you sucked up to the president and embarrassed me.
How did I embarrass you by sucking up?
Hey, man, I got an idea. I got an event that could be bigger than that Bobby Riggs, Billie Jean King match.
Really?
Yeah. We get any politician, and then we get you and Larry King to see who gets the most butt.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Been watching that Discovery Channel lately. I watch some educational channels, you know.
I do.
Had a big show on dinosaurs.
Really?
Yeah. They've been able to prove they had lesbian dinosaurs.
Here we go. Jesus, here we go.
You know what they called them?
No.
Licked a lot of puss.
Jesus, Bob, you're a disgusting pig.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Hi, sir.
INX Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
It's time now for sports. Here with all that is Mike Green.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports.
Play by
Vanderbilt.
They got like a bunch of seniors, so that's all I really know right now.
Nova's very prepared for that game on Wednesday night. Clinton, his executive assistant. You know what do you think is going on with Liesel, Bernard? Because every day we're finding that she's doing something goofy.
She has a heavy workload.
She has no heavy workload.
Occasionally she screws up.
She screws up every day. It was only a few short months ago that the I-Man had this to say about Miss Denton.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. All that work for nothing. Yeah, she's really great. What did I say? He said something positive, obviously. We have it, Lou? Okay, play it. I guarantee you Lisa will be fine. There you go. We now have some ugliness. Frank Rich from the New York Times is coming up. Hits the thing, Lou.
Imus in the morning.
As Mike stocks plummet, my fortunes plummet. Well, go ahead, Mike. Say something funny. Go on. You know that was a good finish. Bob Gelb and Dov Kramer. We'll see you tomorrow at the SIDS Telethon. Adios.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Here now on the Imus in the Morning program, a man who was the Ted Bundy of the Great White Way when he was a drama critic for the New York Times.
The serial killer of Broadway. Okay.
Frank Rich. Good morning, Mr. Rich.
Good morning.
Did you see me on the Brinkley Show?
I certainly did. That fireplace was quite commanding to those of us who don't have fireplaces. I expected there to be a crawl, like, when they could be selling, old Johnny Mathis records.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
Remember back in the Tanya Harding case, in the early days, there was that torn-up note that they found?
Right.
Well, I'm convinced that those are the missing pieces of the Vincent Foster note. And that if they're all put together, we're going to find out that the Galulis are the only people who actually bought a plot at Whitewater.
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Happening. I'm Paul Olden with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66.
Good evening, 6:05 on the Fan. Bill Daughtry with you at 718-937-6666. Taking you right up to the pregame tonight at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knickerbockers taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Very busy night on the local sports schedule, but the news of the day, dominated by the events down in Big D. No, there wasn't another shooting in Dealey Plaza, although there may be one before the start of the new NFL season.
It's the SIDS Radiothon on the Imus in the Morning Radio Network. Make your pledge now by calling 1-800-468-9913. 1-800-468-9913.
Imus in the morning.
Cohen for the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
Live from the World Financial Center Winter Garden in Manhattan, you're listening to the WFAN Radiothon to benefit the CJ Foundation for SIDS with Imus in the Morning.
Hi, I'm Imus in the Morning. We're live here at the Winter Garden Atrium at the World Financial Center, which is right across the street from the World Trade Center. And by the way, at TEM in Washington, they are down at, they're broadcasting live from the old Ebbets Grill. Do you know where that is?
No, I don't, as a matter of fact.
Didn't you used to work in Washington?
Yes, I did, but it's...
Live from New York City's World Financial Center, Winter Garden, you're listening to the Make your tax-deductible donation right now by calling 1-800-468-9913. 1-800-468-9913.
Imus in the morning.
Look at Mike, how much weight he's
What do you mean, lost a lot of weight? I weighed 165. I now weigh 160. That's 5 pounds.
And here's the more
burped that much.
Here's the more distressing thing. Here's the more distressing thing.
Go ahead.
You have taken to wearing lavender shirts,
Leave me alone.
pink shirts, lilac shirts. I mean, what is going on here? I mean, I haven't seen a T-shirt in about 3 months.
And I know, Don, I'm very happy. I got your invite to go out to New Mexico, or is it Arizona for the wedding in December?
No, wedding. He wants you out there 3 days early for the bachelor party.
I think
Santa Fe.
That's one wedding I didn't get an invite to. I guarantee you that.
You're coming out of the cake.
Beat me to that one.
Good job, Don. Thanks an awful lot with that.
You're welcome, you guys.
Thank you, see Don. Don, 5:30 to 10 tomorrow as he wraps things up and puts the big push on, because we're sure not giving him a whole lot of help right now. We'll try to in the next 90 minutes.
Pick it up.
And this half hour is sponsored by the Tri-City Insurance Brokers on the Fan.
All right, back after this. 1-800-468-9913. Call that number.
It's the WFAN SIDS Radiothon. Call now and make a donation. 1-800-468-9913. 1-800-468-9913.
The park temperature is 48 degrees, and that's what's happening. This is Bob Usler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your radio home for March Madness.
Live from Mickey Mantle's restaurant in Manhattan, It's Howie Rose, Ian Eagle, and Bill Daughtry, and the WFAN-SIDS Radiothon. Make your tax-deductible donation right now by calling 1-800-468-9913. 1-800-468-9913. Monies raised will benefit the CJ Foundation for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. Use Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or the Discover card. Call now. 1-800-468-9913. 1-800-468-9913.
And that's a number that we can't say often enough tonight. We're going to repeat it over and over and over until it's firmly embedded in your minds, and hopefully you'll see fit to call it and contribute whatever you can. 1-800-468-9913. That's the number to donate to the CJ Foundation for SIDS. Hi, everyone. I'm Howie Rose here at Mickey Mantle's Restaurant on Central Park South. If you're in the neighborhood, why don't you come by and say hello? And if you got a couple extra dollars you could spare, we'll have a bucket right here for you that you can drop some dough in and help contribute to this awful thing that we're trying to conquer. I'm joined tonight by Ian Eagle and Bill Daughtry. And if you do not know much about SIDS as of now...
W. Gelb. Enjoy your Thursday on the Fan and Rooney. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
We're hooping it up. Cloudy, 52 degrees in Central Park. And that's what's happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
6:04, and what do you say? Howie Rose with you on the fan for a big fiver all the way until 11 o'clock tonight when we pick up Billy Packer's Final Four preview show, whatever exactly it's called. I guess March Madness. Now, who thought of that? So that'll be coming up at 11 o'clock. And then, of course, Steve Summers through the overnight. But we're going to have a lot of time to yak things up here at 718-937-6666, and it's kind of a free here on the fan. Howie Rose with you till 11. We'll come back, take some more calls right after Bill Daughtry and the update.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN.
I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports at WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
7:05 on the fan. Howie Rose with you till 11 o'clock tonight. We were talking before about the ballpark at Arlington, the very creative name of the new stadium in which the Texas Rangers will play their games. I don't know if you caught USA Today, but page one of the sports section today features a look at Jacobs Field, which is the new home of the Cleveland Indians. All and carpets are ready to go. And, you know, if you liked them in October, there's nothing to dislike about them now. If you haven't liked them all year, well, they're still here. What do you want me to do? Coming up on 9 o'clock. Updates next.
Hey, Easter Bunny.
That's what's happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports and WFAN, the radio home of March Madness.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
That's right. March Madness Final Four coming up this weekend. Lake Superior State plays Harvard. BU plays Minnesota. That's the Final Four I'm interested in anyway. The NCAA Hockey Final Four taking place this weekend. I guess you could say that the race for
2020 Sports. Good morning. This is Mike Breen with sports. Jets a 24-14 victory over the Dolphins. Boomer Esiason throws for 2 touchdowns. He ran for another. Coach Bruce Goslett says Boomer still has it.
He hasn't lost a damn thing. He really hasn't.
Jets are now 1-1 on the season.
He's got kind of a, he sounds like the I-Man, got a little girly man voice going for him.
Pretty wavy.
For his first initial visit here in 1994. Wow.
Right.
Good morning, Your Eminence, Cardinal O'Connor.
Good morning, God bless. You look good, Imus Lamar.
Thank you, Cardinal.
Good enough for an open casket, I suppose.
You know,
flea-bitten buffoon, you.
Lose those jokes.
You have gangrene of the head, be Jesus?
No.
The winning numbers in the New York State Lottery is as follows.
That's what we want.
You're still getting your exercise by touching your toes in the steam room, Imus Lamar. Filthy flit, you.
You shut up.
Look at that doof McCord. Quick, Chuck, the Ironman's boots are getting dry. You better go down and lick him, boy. You're stupid lackey boy.
No, I don't think that's the way to go here.
The win-4 number. Well, I suppose it wasn't a very merry Kwanzaa for Mayor Dinkins this year, Mr. Lamar.
You know, first of all, we never even got the other numbers that you were going to give before.
The daily number.
We never got those.
048.
Oh, okay. Now, what about Mayor...
I suppose it wasn't a very merry Kwanzaa for Mayor Dinkins this year, Mr. Lamar.
Well, it might not for Professor Dinkins.
The poor fella. He's got a job up at Columbia, does he?
Yes.
He'll be wearing a blue suit and carrying a baton or some damn thing.
Yeah, Jesus. Here, you're a goon. Oh, God.
I must say that in defeat, Mayor Dinkins proved himself to be a man of honor, be Jesus. A good man.
Yes, he did.
I'd allow him to chauffeur me around any day of the week, be Jesus. As long as he kept his mouth shut, you pussy-faced bastard. You shut up.
I mean, that's just, you know.
The win-4 number. Let's see, Mr. Lamar.
Well, what's the win-4 number?
New York now has Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Yes.
Senator Alphonse D'Amato.
Yeah.
And Governor Cuomo, be Jesus. What the hell is this, New York or Naples, be Jesus? Bloody greaseball state.
I bet we'll be fine.
More flipping Italians in government that at a White Beaters Anonymous convention, be Jesus. I'll tell you that.
That will be fine.
I'll get a good look at Cuomo and D'Amato, but Jesus, they look both of them look one day in the sun away from being Puerto Rican. So I tell you that.
That will be fine.
Listen to me, Bicho.
Is there any group we've left out this morning?
Ask you this, Mr. Mard.
Sure.
What do a Hispanic and a cue ball have in common?
Uh-oh. All right, wait a minute now. Let's see if we can figure this out, actually.
What do a Hispanic and a cue ball have in common?
Hispanic and a cue ball. I don't know.
The harder you hit them, the more English you get out of me, Jesus. Take my numbers as follows.
I mean, this is beneath contempt.
There's this Lou Rufino over there with the sweet tooth, the young Italian that he is.
No.
Hey, Lou, do you like cream puffs, boy?
Yeah, I do, Cardinal.
Well, puff on this. The cream will be along in a little while. You little drop you.
Come on.
Take my numbers as follows.
You know.
1, 5, 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Let me ask you this time, Mr. Mard. I come over there and punch your lights out.
Wait a minute. Those are the Pick 10 numbers. Only 3 numbers.
I punch your lights out with the police charge me with gay bashing, elder abuse, or mutilating a corpse or some damn thing.
Shut up.
1, 5, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 30, 35, 37, 41, 55, 63, 64, 65, 66, 68, 70, 74, 76.
All right. 76?
76, 5.
Okay, what's the jackpot?
The big jackpot this Wednesday night, Mr. Mard.
Yes. John Cardinal O'Connor here on the Irish Winning Program.
Which doesn't belong and why?
All right, which doesn't belong and why?
A, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
B, Michael Jackson.
B, Michael Jackson.
C, Imus Mard. Which doesn't belong and why?
Clearly Michael Jackson.
Wrong, you two-legged pea stain, you. While all 3 of these overexposed white glove-wearing wackos encourage young children to sit in their laps. The answer is A, Santa Claus doesn't belong because unlike the other 2, Santa Claus allows the kids to pull only on his beard, nothing else to do. I tell you that.
John Cardinal O'Connor.
That is my card.
Don't blame that on McCord.
What are you doing?
Imus in the morning.
I'm not a 8117, 243-8117, ask for Ted Cummings.
Friday, and one of the investment world